Hello VAC fans, and welcome back to another video. I didn't do one yesterday, which was quite unusual for me, but had to go and visit the old parents yesterday, so I wasn't able to do any videos yesterday. So I did put a few washing machine videos on of my machine doing its final sort of loads before I have a new one next weekend. So that should have kept everybody happy. Well, the washing machine's happy anyway. Now, we're going to be doing a look back at some of the old vintage machines, because I had a request from Pneumatic Vacuum, also called Alex. I'm sure most people know him. He's the one that he's the one that just bought the new Miele cleaner with the power head on. Everybody knows Alex. And he left a comment on my old Hoover Ranger video that I did back in 2014 that I should remake it and have a sort of a revisit. So what I'm going to have to do is some of those old ones. I've also had a request from Vacuums of Allergy, who I think he lives in Denmark, or it's one of the Scandinavian countries, and he says when you do these remakes of these old videos, that I shouldn't remove them off the channel after I remake them. Well, the thing with that is, you see, if I do an updated review on something and I've had problems with it since I did the original review, I don't really want it to be people to be looking at the old review and thinking everything's wonderful, because back in 2014 I'd only just had some of those machines, so I didn't know about the problems that I was going to get with them. So when I do the remakes, that's usually going to indicate how the machine's been over for like 3 years. So I actually do leave the old ones on YouTube. I don't delete them, I just unlist them. So they're still on there, they just don't come up in search results, and they don't come up on, when people look at my videos page and scroll down, they don't show up, but they are still actually on there. They're hidden, what I call hidden videos. So if anybody's got them in their liked videos list, then they can still play them, because the link's still there. So it's not like they've actually gone, they're still there. If anybody liked them in the past and wanted to see the fat old me that I used to be in 2014, I mean, I am putting a bit of weight back on again now, to be honest. I was over 20 stone back then. I'm about 13.5 stone again now, so I did go down to 11.5. It's very, very difficult trying to keep weight off, unfortunately, and I don't intend to ever go back to that sort of size, but back in those days I did a lot of videos in a very short time, and some of those were from new machines, and I'd only had them for a short period of time. So I thought, well, they're actually not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. And when I'd had them for a while, things started coming to light, problems and design flaws that I only noticed really after I'd had them for a little while and used them for a while. So the updated reviews really are supposed to be replace what was put on 3 years ago. So if he thinks that they've disappeared, they haven't actually. If he'd have got them in these liked videos, then you can still play them, but they're just basically unlisted. Now, Alex has said to do one of the Hoover Ranger here, and I noticed as well that Dorian's just brought a video out that he's brought a Ranger video out as well. So I thought, well, what better time than to get my one back down again. What I might do, I might leave the original one on there, and on this one we'll have more close-ups of it, and we'll have some particles on the floor, and we'll do the Hoover beats as it sweeps as it cleans with it, and see just how much the brush roll beats the carpet. I'm sure most people have seen how well the old Hoovers used to beat carpets and make the particles dance up and down on the carpet. But, well, back in 2014 when I started doing the videos, I used a different camera. They were all shot in sort of narrow screen. They were like nearly an hour long, some of them. I used to ramble on, a lot worse than what I do now, and the camera never used to come off the top there, so there was no close-ups of the machine or anything. Now when I do a video, I get the camera off and I show close-ups of the video. I try and put test dirt down on the floor. We do big mess tests, we do reviews, we do revisitors, I do washing machine videos, I do reviews of other items, everything now. So I have technical videos. I mean, Dorian said to me, why don't I show how to clean up a Dyson or clean filters on a bagless machine? The fact is that most people know how to clean filters on a bagless machine. It's in the instructions, you just take it out and wash it. You know, I can't really make a half-an-hour video on how to wash filters in a machine. I don't mind doing take-apart videos and doing showing how to replace motors and taking things to pieces, so I'll carry on doing those. But like basic maintenance on a cheap £70 Argos made in China bagless vac, most people know how to clean a filter. Changing a belt, maybe, that's a little different issue, but I don't actually have that many cheap and nasty cleaners. What they would call the £60, £70 ones. I don't buy them anymore. I don't go in Argos now and buy the really cheap Hoovers, Vaxes and the items like that, because I don't want to waste money on them anymore. I've got limited resources to buy cleaners with, and when I do buy them, I want to make sure that what I'm getting, which is like this Dyson here, that it's worth the money, I'm going to have some enjoyment out of it. Those really cheap ones, I had no enjoyment out of them, and all that happened was they ended up in the loft and never got used. So I am looking on eBay for older machines to buy, but the problem I've got is every time I go on there, it's the same old tat over and over again from the same old sellers, Dyson refurbishing and that, and it's the same old things every time I go on. And occasionally you'll get something a little bit different coming up, but usually on an auction format, and I think, ooh, shall I be bothered with it? You know, I'll probably get outbid. Because I think now there's more collectors than there used to be, and there seems to be a lot more competition for things on eBay. And a lot of the sellers won't post things, they won't send them by courier, and if they do, they get damaged by the couriers, especially these fragile turbo power ones. You know, where you get a yodel and they just sling everything around in the back of the van and they just break stuff. And I know Dorian, he drives hundreds and hundreds of miles to get new machines. I can't do that, I'm afraid. My car's 11 years old, it's not going to make it driving all the way over the car. I've got an old Toyota Yaris, and whilst if it's in sort of a 30-mile radius, yeah, okay, I might consider that, but if it's right over the other side of the country or down in London somewhere, I can't do it. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make some of the videos that you lot are asking for, because mainly of money constraints. I would have liked to have bought some more new machines, but unfortunately my washing machine needs to be replaced, and I have to consider other appliances in my house, because the vacuum cleaners can't do the laundry, and if I've got no washing machine I'm a bit stuck. But anyway, I'm sorry, Dorian, if I can't do everything you're asking for when you're asking me to do things like that. I'll do what I can to try and make the videos, but I look at the viewing figures on those technical videos and they don't get a lot of views. People just generally don't seem to be interested in seeing Miele's taken apart or motors replaced in Miele's. I got more views on that big mess test for the Dyson DC04 in the last month than just about anything else that I've put on. Oh, and the review there for the Dyson light ball, I had a lot of views on that. So it just seems that it's got to be a Dyson video or a Henry video, otherwise nobody seems to be interested. But I will continue to do older vintage machines and different machines, but it's not very heartening really when you go to the bother of making these videos and nobody watches. But anyway, I will carry on doing it, just for you, Dorian. I will do this Hoover Ranger, and just for Alex as well. So, this is the U4002. It was, this machine is special to me because the 4002 was the machine that my parents had when I grew up as a young boy, all those many, many, many years ago. I'm 45 now. I was born in 1972, and this came out in 1974. So, when I was a little nipper, you know, back in the 70s, this is the machine my mother used to use. Not this particular model, they've still got theirs in the loft at home, back where they live. They never use it, but they've still got that old range, and they won't let me have it though. I told them I've got another one anyway. I had to go to Runcorn to buy this. When it came up, I had to drive from Stoke, where I live now, right up to Runcorn to fetch this for £20, because I wanted it so badly. Because it's a special machine, like I say, it holds a lot of memories, and it's in very good nick as well. Well, it wasn't so good when I had it. I had to clean it up, obviously, but this is the early version with the gold bag on, and then there was a later version of it with the brown bag on the back that they used for the shaking back adverts in the late 70s. I think it was 79, 80 maybe that they used it for that. This one is the bottom fill, and the later one was the top fill. But essentially, there wasn't really a lot of other differences apart from the colour and the top fill tube between this one and the later one, which came around in the later 70s, the top fill. There wasn't a lot of differences really between this and the earlier series that went before. The only differences really were the fact that this had a different hood on the top that covered all over the metal chassis, whereas the 652 and the 652A and the 6525C didn't. They just had a smaller plastic hood. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make another video of the 652. I've got two upstairs that I'm going to bring down, have them both down here together. I might do that later on today actually. And then I've got to make new videos of my the Junior the 1346A in the jade green. I want to redo that one. The 1346, the orange and the pumpkin and seal grey machine, I did a version of that early last year. So that one's relatively updated, so I won't be doing that one again. But I might actually bring it down and have it next to the 1346 and show the differences between the two. There are loads of things I can still do. It's just that I can't do those clean-up videos of machines I'm buying off eBay because I don't buy that many, if any at all, at the moment. Okay then, the Ranger. What I'm going to have to do with this, we'll get the camera down. We'll have a little quick look over it again, and I'll put the belt back on and we'll put some test particles down and have a push round with it and see how wonderful this machine was. Right, okay, so as I've just said, it doesn't really have a lot of differences to the previous 652A, which had run since 1958. So really, I mean, this was a very, very long running platform, this machine, this style of machine. It was replaced by the Power Plus, I believe, that came in the 80s. As the Hoover history, I'm a little bit cloudy on again now because I haven't really gone into the history of these for quite some time. But I believe the Power Plus did replace this. It was a very similar sort of style, but more 80s really. It was it had a slightly different shape hood, and it was brought more into the times. And then when they replaced that, they brought the Turbo Master out to replace that, and that really was the end of this platform. But for this one, we are talking 1975, I think this one was, without having a look at the stock label. On here we have the height positions, and for my carpets I have it on the highest it'll go, which is here, and then you can go all the way down to the bottom for what they used to call shag, or long pile carpet, which most homes had back in the 70s. Well, a lot of homes did. It was very fashionable back in the 70s, shag pile was, especially in America. So anyway, that's the height position. On the other one here, we've got the on-off pedal here. That differed from the 652 in that the 652 was further down here, or on the side there. Pedal release there, so that would recline the handle. And if you pressed it again, it would lie completely flat to the floor, so you could get this underneath low furniture, with the exception of that, which used to stick up quite a bit. It's got a white cable on, and I think this is the original cable because I didn't change it. The only thing I did, I think I put a new plug on. I think the plug was damaged on there. I've got a feeling I might have replaced that plug. But back in the day, they wouldn't have come with plugs on anyway. These wouldn't. You'd have had to have fitted your own. So we've got the gold bag on the back here, which is in pretty good nick. I did wash this in the sink by hand. I never wash anything in the washing machine. Where it concerns these, I always do them in the sink by hand wash, very gentle. And we can open the back up here, and we can see our SIBO bag that I've got on here at the moment, because they actually do make rather good bags for the Hoovers. It's a paper bag, but a 3-layer. I haven't got any of the fleece ones yet for my SIBO X series, so we just make do with these paper ones because I've got so many of these. The Hoover run's okay with it. Here we've got the band, and all we do to replace the bag is to slide the band down here, pull the bag off, put your new one on, and then roll your band back up over the top. There's the bellows there. So what you would do there, basically, if you wanted to empty the bag, or what I would have done, is to simply unclip it from the top of here, slide this slider over to the right, drop the bag down, take the bag off, and then you could walk to the bin with it like this, and then you could slide your bag off upside down without the fear of getting any dirt all over your carpet. And I always thought that was the easiest way of emptying them. So we can put that back on there, slide it up, and because there's some grease on here, it slides in and clicks in nice and easily as well. And then we can put our bag with one hand. That's the only trouble with trying to do with a camera in one hand, and then you've got I struggle sometimes to get these things back on. Come on, that's it. Okay, so underneath, here's the, oh, it's upside down, isn't it? It would be. The stock label, just here. And there we can see it's August 1975, this one. It's a U4002, made in England, well, made in Great Britain. Here we see the 2-speed switch. If I had any tools, which I haven't, but you would slide your converter in the back and click on that switch. It would click against that switch and turn the power up to make it motor run faster. Because the tools on this, they weren't much good. The converter used to leak quite a lot. Because with these, the belt didn't come off when you were using the tools. So here's the agitator just underneath here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take the base plate off, and that was 1, 2 clips. Pull that down, and as you can see here, I always store the machine with the belt off, especially these type. There'd been some issues with the quality of the belts that I bought for these in the past. I'd used buy spares and ordered some belts from them, and the ones that came were snapping literally within 5 minutes of turning the machine on. They all broke. And it was the same for the juniors as well. When I put the junior belts on, they were breaking very, very quickly. So what I had to do was hunt round on eBay, and then eventually I found a seller who was selling like a jiffy bag full of these old belts. So I've got about 12 of those type of belts now. I mean, they're old stock belts, these are. They've got Hoover embossed on the side of them, and I know that these are original belts. So whilst they do go, they last a fair bit longer than what the aftermarket ones do. So I can't really recommend the aftermarket belts that you get from the likes of buy spares, because they just do not last, and they're a waste of money, and they're not cheap either. A couple of belts in a pack, and what are they, £5? And for just to snap within 5 or 10 minutes? No, it's no good. So, because getting parts now is more difficult for these, I don't use these as daily drivers. They are solely to stay up in the collection, just come down once in a while for maybe little demos like this. So it's important as well when you put the belt on to make sure that it corresponds with that diagram there, because if you put it on back to front, the brush roll will spin in reverse. It'll spin backwards. On a junior it would just throw the belt off if you put it on wrong, but on these it doesn't. It just makes the brush roll go round. Instead of going round in this direction, it goes round in that direction instead, and pushes the dirt back towards that way rather than that way. And you wouldn't really know that either when you were using it. It'd probably slow the brush down as you were pushing it forward, and you might be able to hear it, but wouldn't clean the carpet as well. So we're just going to stretch that. And I can't do that with one finger either, so I'm going to have to put the camera down on here, and I'll stretch this round just the way that the diagram says, like so. And then you spin the fan in the direction the fan would turn, and make sure that the brush roll turns the right way, and that's on. And then we can put our base plate back on it, like so. Okay. And on the back here we can see the height adjuster wheels there with the spring. Earlier model 652 only had 2 position settings, and when I bring those down for that video I'll show how they work, because they were slightly different to these. Inside the hood it's got the Ranger headlight. As most 652s had a headlight, so did this. In this machine I've got a 28 watt halogen candle bulb in this machine that would fit, basically it's one that would fit in a sort of a fitting like that. It's a candle bulb with a halogen capsule inside it. It's 28 watt and it shines through here quite brightly. The trouble is with this, it shines through yellow, so because the lens seemed to go the same colour as the rest of the machine, it gives a really yellowy light now when it's running. So anyway, let's put some stuff down on the floor in front of it, and we'll see it working then. So let's just pop this back on the top. Bit of that. Bit of couscous. A bit of brown rice. I'm not putting too much down. And I'll put the camera at carpet level. Aha, there we go. And we will see what the Hoover Ranger does with them. I'll just go and plug it in. I'm just uncabling the cable, unwinding the cable now, and then it's ready to go. Turn it on. There we go. That little bit of vibration you could hear there, I think that's just the brush roll in the end. It sometimes does do that. I think it probably just needs some, there was like a little tiny sort of a spring clamp, whatever they used to use in the end of the brush roll to keep it steady. I don't think it's missing in this, so that's why it sometimes does vibrate a bit. But anyway, let's put the camera down and we'll have a good hoover round. Yes, I can say Hoover as well, but we'll have a good hoover round in the back room with it, just like they would in the olden days. So come on then, Mr. Ranger. Let's. No, not Yogi Bear either. Going on about the Ranger. This is the Hoover Ranger, not the Jellystone Park Ranger. Isn't that absolutely beautiful machine to use? It's just very, very quiet, and it's very, very growly. That's what I always said about the Ranger. They always had a very, very growly brush roll on there, especially at that area there where the carpet's more squashed down. You can really hear the bass of the vibration of that carpet from that brush roll. It really is it's quite a fantastic old machine. It works brilliant still for its age. I'm sure Dorian's Hoover Ranger will be just as good as this once he's finished refurbishing it. Maybe, if not even better. So, what I'll do, I shall end this video here and now, and I shall probably go and bring my 652As down, and we can go again with those. Very, very similar machines to these, so again we'll do the demos with them, and let's see what the differences were. Nice to get the old machines down for a few retro showings instead of the new machines. Anyway, I'll end this video here, and from me and the Ranger, bye for now.